Alright everybody, welcome back. We're continuing our reading of the fantastic Tafseer. And, wow man, I have definitely gained a more stronger hold on my understanding. I can feel it's like downloading information. So, let's continue. We're on Surah Al-Baqarah dealing with 159 through 162. We were in him giving us more explanation and analysis. And before we get started, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allah took a covenant from people of knowledge, that they should explain to the people what Allah has blessed them with of knowledge of the book, and should not conceal it. For whoever ignores the covenant and combines the two evils of concealing that which Allah has revealed and deceiving the slaves of Allah. Now here's something interesting. Every time I hear the concealing, indeed, as he mentioned, it's towards a distinct time period, however, it can be applied today. There's a lot of webs going on. There's a lot of roadblocks that certain people in power put to prevent you from discovering a way out. But Allah is the best of providers. He can give us a unique way to go out that may not be their way, but we can find a way to survive. And here you're going to really start to see, I believe, as soon as they're done taking out Christianity, they're going to move towards censoring more and more Islamic videos. I believe in the future, there's going to be so much debauchery, so much hedonism, that we're going to go through a dark ages of religious knowledge and scholars. And social media is going to play a huge role in that. And they're going to identify everything as hate speech. And that is, to me, going to be a form of concealing religious knowledge to the uneducated masses who don't have time to learn, and they will not even have access or come across in their algorithm on any app or on Google any person. It's going to be even harder. And more people are becoming digitized. They're separating from the physical world, and now you can't gather. So the government, along with big tech, is really separating people while hiring the best psychologists and the best data makers to really kind of keep you locked in there. And they can just really head at you. So it's smart, I think, if people want to help reveal knowledge of Islam, you need to expand to different apps. You can't just be on the dinosaur ones of the heavy hitters, because they're going to be against you pretty soon. Right? Pretty soon. I mean, if you just look how they censor and mock Christians, that's what's really sad. Is that Jewish people, Christians, even Buddhists, everyone should have a sort of an alliance where we're all going to make sure that we let tech not regulate us to this way. Because things are going to get concealed pretty heavily. And then once they can conceal you on algorithms, authentic scholars, they're going to send in fake ones who quickly declared their religion, quickly, they're going to send in all kinds of people to disrupt and dismantle and take it apart from within. Because you can see that strategy over time. That's why in the Napoleon book that I read, the Jacobins and others, they suppressed religion in the 1790s in France. Those patterns repeat, and communism has a history of crushing religion, just crushing it. And when you have an American liberals and progressive and Democrats who are leaning hardcore towards communism and really love Marx, and is taught in every single political science class, and it's really, talked well about, while capitalism, even though capitalism has problems, is suppressed, right? Marx called religion the opiate of the masses. There's something going on here. There's a concealment that's going to come about. That's why I think we have to do our part. So we know that the curse of Allah will be on people who actively try to dissuade people. But we have to work on it. Like, for example, I went to listen to the Surah Al-Jinn. There was advertisement there was ladies in bikinis. There's an advertisement for it. Don't try to tell me that the Google company, YouTube, didn't put that on there specifically. Because my ad stuff, I don't look up anything of female clothing. That would not even supposed to go in my algorithm because I don't behave in that way. But they placed it on there on purpose. I started noticing this. There's going to be more things they do. And they're never going to stop. It's only going to harder, harder, harder. They enjoy it. They're just going to keep coming at people, keep ridiculing, keep concealing, calling everything hate speech, everything extreme, everything misogynist, everything this, everything that. They're going to put an ism on or obia on the end of every word. And literally by default, conceal your religion by not even allowing people to have access to it. Fewer and fewer people have time to read, have time to learn or go and talk to a scholar. So the digital realm is a great way to really educate people. But someone sitting in an office in a high-rise building who hates your religion can simply go beep, and that's it for you. Tell me that's not a form of concealment. Here, it was like there's different kinds of concealment, but today the concealment is so extensive and expansive that it's really hurting everyone. Truly. It's really right, really makes you think. On them shall be the curse of Allah, that is, He will cast them far away from Him and His mercy. And the curse of the cursers, this refers to all of creation. The curse will befall them from all creation because they strove to mislead people. Aha! Striving to mislead people. A good example of that is when everything is, like if I try to tell people, hey man, I grew up this way, it's not good, they'll say, oh, you're for the patriarchy. You're a misogynist. Blah, blah. Like, and it's just like, no. They're misleading people while you can be like, hey man, you're going to go into that profession? Someone should tell you the flip side of it because it's not going to be pretty. And they'll say, oh, you're backwards, you're a prude, you're this, you're that. And then they censor you on it. And it's like, okay. But those people will have their accounting for sure. Because you can't go around spreading certain things and then think it's not going to come back to you. Especially when people say, legalize all drugs. A lot of these kids, they go to university, their parents have money. They never had to grow up with me, like people like me who had to grow up around real addicts. You see what happens to people. It takes over their brains. You're like, what? And they want to make it sound like it's all a party, like it's all Amsterdam. I understand. They worry about having full prisons. People need rehab. They want to put social workers, blah, blah, blah. But you're dealing with chemical drugs that are created by scientists in the jungles of Colombia and other places. There's chemists making crystal meth here. We're talking about people who've betrayed their honor and used their skills to mislead people. I mean, it's so extensive. So we're going to go into a very dark future. But if we do what we can to be like, hey, don't drink while pregnant. Hey, don't be a streetwalker because this is going to happen to you. Don't go meet up with these guys you meet on Tinder because they could literally get you in the car and you could have a very troublesome situation and you're going to be done for. Right? They say, oh, you're scaring girls. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're misleading people into a false reality that you yourself will not feel the punishment for till maybe later by the will of Allah. But still, this is interesting because when you read this tafsir, you get to see what he means of the past, but also when you look at your wherever you are, like your current situation, you can be like, interesting. We're getting into a place where we have so many influencers who are vapid, vain, and completely fake and inauthentic. And it's really going to cause a lot of problems. I mean, I fear who I lead. Some people, they don't fear at all. They don't fear at all, and that's really freaky. Corrupt their religion and take them away from the mercy of Allah. Yeah, the way they'll corrupt your religion is by changing it, and all the authentic people, they'll say hate speech. Hate speech, hate speech, hate speech, incitement, blah. They'll just label you. They won't take time to read your religion. They'll listen to a 5-minute thing and be like, oh, we're just going to label you as this. And then when people go to investigate, they'll be overwhelmed with an algorithm that goes anti towards you, and you're going to have a problem. So, fighting in the digital realm, the digital realm is the biggest threat to corrupting religion because those in the companies usually hate religion. If they can use them for votes at an expedient way to get a certain person elected, or they can make ad revenue off of it, they'll allow it. But if you look at the values of the companies, who they hire, and their actions, by their fruits you shall know them. So indeed, this tafsir is really enlightening us. What do you think, fam?